more than you plug.
I'm gonna turn off these lights because I feel like I'm gonna have a seizure. I fell victim to it. I made a plug song. I'm not too familiar with the plug genre. I know like a few artists, kind of. Autumn, Cash Dami. Does Baby Santana make plug still? I have no clue. So it's not a genre that I'm like super... I don't listen to it all the time, but I've always kind of been interested in making it. So this is my attempt at it. I'm gonna be showing you what I did, how I did it. Anyways, yeah, enough said. Let's get started on the plug. By the way, I'll be going over vocals at the end. The opening is, it's not super complicated. It's only a couple layers. I just have some drums, 808s. I have a violin. I have like a square lead, and I also have the plucks. These plucks stay throughout the entirety of the song. This is kind of the most important part I've learned for the plug genre. If you don't have them like a specific way or a specific sound, it's just not gonna be plug. You are just not getting any plug there. I learned a little trick to make this sound more pluggy, to make that specific plug sound. How many times am I gonna say plug throughout the video? So what you're gonna want to do for a whole chord, so you want to have the bass note first, and the way you're gonna want to stack the chord is very specific. You're gonna want to start off with 2 or 3 spaces in between the first bass note and the second note, and then you want to go 2 spaces in between the second and third, and then again 3 spaces on the third to fourth. So you're gonna want to switch from 3 to 2 spaces each one. Then for the next chord, you have your bass note. So you see how on the first chord I have 3 spaces. I put 2 spaces on the next chord. The first chord went from 3 spaces to 2 spaces to 3 spaces, and for the next chord it went from 2 spaces to 3 spaces to 2 spaces. And then for the third chord, now this is where I kind of went a bit solo dolo. Hello, it's editing me. So after I explained that little 2-3 space rule to get the plug sound, I completely disregarded those rules and tried to explain why I did what I did for the next chords. So I'm just gonna skip through this part. You wouldn't know what I'm talking about anyways. I don't even know what I'm talking about here. So if you really care enough, here's the piano roll. You can just look at that and observe what I did. Okay, thanks. Bye. That was the jankiest explanation of a chord progression I think I could have conjured up. I have no idea how I'm gonna edit that. For me, I don't really take music theory into account when I'm making like chord progressions. A lot of it is by ear, which is not a good thing, but it works for the most part. A lot of producers aren't like making chord progressions or like this is what has to follow. It definitely does have to follow music theory, but it just depends if you're gonna just like YOLO it, you know? As always for plug, you have to have violin. With the violin, this sort of acted like the lead. I actually got the violin from Flex, it's the FL Studio like stock preset, whatever. It's not the most professional sounding thing in the world, but it does work. The square took me a bit to get the progression right. I did get there in the end. Just a classic square lead, which is very prevalent on plug, I feel like. Drums are pretty simple. I've got the kick, clap, hi-hat. I have this little like chant. I did add a cymbal. Then lastly, I have the 808s. Not really enough to go in depth. I have 3 things that I added on for the chorus. I found these little plucks off of Serum. They're kind of like bells, I feel like, a bit more than plucked. So these are keys, actually. Fuck me, I get. And then I have... I feel like these aren't necessary in regular plug music, but it is kind of like my style, because I put this out on YouTube as like a digicore type beat, which it really isn't, but I suppose it does kind of have like a digicore-esque style, if you want to consider it that, but really it's just whatever. And then I added on a snare to the drums, just so it could add a bit more to the chorus, which you probably can't even notice when you're listening to it, but isn't producing just all about adding things that nobody notices. Like, even for these right here, I was like debating in my head for an hour if those sounded good, and I had to like show my friends, and they're just like, yeah, it's fine, we don't care. Then it goes on to the verse. The verse, I added on a pluck that wasn't here in the chorus. They're kind of similar to these. It just gives the whole song a bit of variety. I took off the violin and brought it back with the 808s on the second part of the chorus. Sorry, the verse. And that's about it. There's one last thing I did. I didn't do this in the type beat that I put out on YouTube. I reversed this right here. And then I just put on the little plucks from the verse. It just gave it that really like heartbreaking sound. And that's pretty much it for the beat. It wasn't too complicated. I hope I didn't like overcomplicate anything. I didn't have too much going on with it. 808, drums, a main loop, violin, counter plucks, a square. Really the biggest part about why it is plug is because of this main loop right here. You want to do that 3-2 spacing technique I talked about, which I kind of went a bit off of that, but it is something you want to keep in mind when you are making music like this. If you are using my videos as like a tutorial type of thing. I am Bob Ross, actually. Anyways. It's not the same as it was on Too Lame. It still be more than your plug. Oh my fucking fuck. That was loud. For the vocals, I kept on the same mix actually from the last video. If you want to check that out, it's the curtains video. As I said in that video, my vocal mix, I like to keep it simple. Just so you can really get a feel for my amazing voice. I'm joking. The one thing I did do differently from songs that I don't normally do, I have these ad-libs. And for those, I didn't do anything too crazy. I have on a reverb with absolutely no reverb on it. I just fucked with the dry on that just so it's not like distracting, but it is there. The entire mix is the same for the main vocals. I literally just messed with this second EQ right here. I turned up the high mids on here. So without that, it was shit. Fucking piss. And then with that, fucking piss. As it was on. That's about it. There's not much more to say about it. Thanks for watching, I suppose. Peace. Oh, my camera's about to die. Sis, like, this isn't for show, it's how it lives. She said that I talk too much, shit is what it is. I won't even talk at all, like I ain't saying shit. That's why, like, not at all. You got me fucking pissed. Not the same as it was on Too Lame. It should be more than your plug. I'm ashamed of the person I become. Really don't give a fuck. I can feel it in my gut. You said
that you're proud I turned my life around. Really, I can feel it, I can feel it at all. Just like a month ago, you found my body on the ground. I can't shake the feelings you don't want me around. It's just hate to hear it, try to drown out the crowd. Don't I say it, I can feel it, for that I'm not proud. Some of the old friends, I wish I got to know them. And I'm not perfect, I think you already knew that. Stop signs and a blue path, going to the sunrise because we cool like that. Look me in my eyes and tell me it's alright. I'm not gonna die. It's not like this, yeah, at least not like this. It's not the same as it was, too lame. It's to be more than your plug. I'm ashamed of the person I become. Really, you don't give a fuck, I can feel it in my gut.